Namaste, everyone. Welcome. This is going to be another one of those cute little 10-minute videos that you can do, especially if you work from home, or you can tune in at your office. You can do it on your break. Something simple that you can do. Something that allows you to stretch and move. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to need a chair, but we won't be sitting in the chair. We're going to use it as a prop because if you're working from home or you're working in an office, chairs are prevalent. And you don't necessarily have the ability to unroll a mat and do some yoga. Yet you can get the benefit of a yogic stretch. So what I'm going to have you do first is come stand up wherever you are. Stand up nice and tall. I want to teach you how to stand in what we call Tadasana, mountain pose. Tadasana is an incredibly good yoga pose. If you learn nothing else from yoga, learn how to stand in Tadasana. That's what I tell everyone. Whether I'm teaching a student for essentials and fundamentals, whether I'm teaching my teacher trainees, always I tell everybody, learn to stand in Tadasana. Why? It is the perfect stacking of your bones. If you stand perfectly correct in Tadasana, mountain pose, all of your bones in your skeleton are perfectly aligned. They are stacked properly. This will allow your body to operate at full potential. You will be able to breathe properly. You will be able to have great digestion. There's so many things that are benefit here because you're in perfect alignment. Your nervous system's working properly. It allows that to happen. It allows your circulatory system to work properly because you are fully standing correctly. What happens a lot of times is we all do this. I always tell everybody, when I first try to teach Tadasana, I want you to stand like you're talking to your best friend, and this is always what I see. Trust me, I'm guilty of it as much as anyone else. We tend to lean to one side. We tend to pop up one foot. We tend to do all the things we're not supposed to do. But yet when we stand in Tadasana, you will be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be stronger and more in touch with your body. So this is where we're going to start today. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up nice and tall. Now, if you feel a little wobbly, it's okay to have a chair handy. That's what it's there for. And we're going to use it to do a couple different stretches today, but we're not going to be sitting in them to do them. We're going to be using them as a prop. So let's begin in Tadasana, mountain pose. What I want you to do is stand. Now, you can stand. I tend to have my feet a little closer together. Depending on who you are and how your body is built, you may need to have your feet out a little wider. Here's another thing. If your back bothers you, if you're carrying a little extra weight, you need a little bit wider foundation so that you can stand up nice and tall. Okay, so it just kind of depends. So if you want to move your feet to one side or the other, find that happy spot with your feet. Now the feet are parallel here. The toes are facing forward and they're equal. So one isn't in front of the one and one isn't behind it. They're actually side by side and they're parallel to each other. Now what I'm going to have you do next is I'm going to have you lift up on your toes. Now when I say that, and I say this in a yoga class all the time, this is what happens. I see people come up on their toes. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to lift up your toes and feel your weight shift back in front of your heels. So you lift the toes up, you feel the weight shift back. If you're in shoes and you can't lift your toes up, what you do is I want you to feel that weight shift back in front of your heels. Here's what's happening. Your center of gravity is actually located right in front of your heels. So you need to start with the right foundation. If you're starting with the right foundation, you will have a good stand here, if you know what I mean. You'll actually be able to stack all your bones properly. The next thing I'm going to have you do is lift up through the front of your body. So you're going to feel that lift up through the front of the legs, right up into the belly, right into the torso. And what you're going to do is you can take one hand to your solar plexus. That's right about your belly button. And one hand to your sacrum. That's your tailbone. And I want you to just tuck the tailbone a little bit. And you're going to actually feel your body kind of grow a little taller here. You're going to bring your hands to your side. You're going to bring your shoulders up by the ears. And you're going to drop the shoulder blades down the back. You're going to keep the gaze forward. The chin comes parallel with the floor. Now you have some options here. You can have your hands beside you. And there's different ways that people will hold their hands. The palms will come forward. The palms are right at your side, like a soldier. I personally prefer what's called samasthiti. It's called equal balance pose. Part of the reason I like it is because it's a self-check for yourself. When you stand in samasthiti, you should feel equally balanced on both sides of your body. And this is a great way to check because we do have that tendency to lean one way or the other. So what you're going to do is take your hands together and place them in your heart center. Your thumb is almost touching your heart or touching your heart, depending on how you feel about that. And your shoulders are down. Now, while you're standing here, while you're checking in, what you can do is close your eyes and just feel that check-in. Are you standing correctly over that center of gravity? Are you stacking all of your bones one on top of the other? Are your knees on top of your ankles? Are your hips on top of your knees? Is your spine nice and straight? Is the pelvis level? Are your shoulders level? Are your arms somewhat relaxed? Is the neck right over the shoulders? And if someone drew a straight line all the way up, it would feel like there's a string pulling out of the top of your head. So this is Tadasana. This is mountain pose. And what you can do is you can come stand up. You know, they say you're supposed to move like every 15 minutes or so when you're actually working and you're sitting at a desk. You can stand in Tadasana and still work on your computer. You can still work at a desk. But if you're standing properly, you will have more energy and you'll feel stronger and you'll be able to get more done during the day. So that is our first pose for today's 10 minutes video. So the next pose I'm going to show you is how to do downward facing dog without getting on the floor. Obviously, if you have the ability, if you're working from home and you have the space and you can take that 10 minutes and you can actually get down on the floor, I welcome you to get down on the floor if you know what I'm talking about for doing down dog. If you've never done down dog, sorry about that. What we can do is we can actually go back and I'll be posting some pictures of some actual mat stuff you can do as well. But for today, we're going to use the chair. And you have a couple options with the chair. I call it the high and the low. So you can use the back of a chair, depending on the chair you have, or you can use the seat of the chair. Again, depends on your flexibility and how much space you have and where you're at. If you don't have a chair, you can actually use the top of a counter. You can use the top of your desk. You can use the top of a table. It's going to give you the same effect about what we're going to do here. So I want you to turn to face it, and you're going to place your fingers right on top of it. So we're going to start by standing in that mountain pose, and you're going to lift up and set down. Tuck that tailbone, shoulders up, down, and you're looking forward. So now you've got that nice stack. You know what that feels like. So what you're going to do next is just rest your fingers on your chair, place your hands on your desk, place your hands on the back of the chair if you want. I will show you both the back of the chair and the seat in just a moment. So what's going to happen here is you're going to just start to walk your feet back. And as you do, you want to extend out through your heart here, extend out through the back. You notice my hands are stretching out nice and wide. Now what's going to happen is you're going to go as far as you can, and you're going to actually shift that weight back in front of your heels, push the weight back into your bottom, and drop your chin down. Drop your head right down. And what you're doing here is actually downward facing dog. You're getting the full stretch down both sides of your body. My knees are not locked out, so I could actually, if I wanted to, pedal the feet a little bit here. And when you're ready to come back up out of this, bring your head neutral and then walk the feet slowly back. So you're standing nice and tall in Tadasana. Now, if this, you got to stretch, but you could get a deeper stretch. This is where you use the seat of the chair. So we're going to spin our little dance partner around here. So I have the seat available to me. What we're going to do next is you're going to place your hands right on the seat. And this is where it mimics actually being on the floor. I always tell everybody, I want you to pretend you're a dog. And dog, if you were a good-sized dog, you'd have big paws, right? That's one of the big foundations of dogs. They have big paws if they're big dogs. We're all pretty good-sized dogs if you think about it. So what I want you to do is take your palms and spread them just like you would on the floor, okay? Now you notice what happened. I bent right at the hips to do this so that I'm nice and long. And then I'm just going to do the same thing all over again. I'm going to walk my feet back till I can't go any further. And then I'm going to press my weight back into my bottom in front of my heels and drop my head down. And feel that lengthening down both sides of my body. And again, my knees are soft. You can actually lift up your heels and pedal them. And again, to come back up out of it, you bring your head back to neutral and slowly make the walk back to the seat. Tuck your chin and slowly roll up until you're standing once again in Tadasana, mountain pose. These are different poses that you could do at any time during the day. You sit too much. We all do. It's just a fact of what we do in our society. This allows you to get a full long muscle stretch. Downward facing dog stretches all the long muscles of the body. So you're not only getting a stretch down your legs, but you're getting it down your torso as well, and both arms. So this is something that you can do while you're at your desk, and no one will think you're totally crazy. And with that being said, I wish you a beautiful day. Namaste.